larger capital.
The other thing that I would say to you is that most of you don't need money, right? Most of you have within your networks resources that would enable you to successfully create and do some of the things that you want to do. For example, if you're starting a catering business, some people would say, well, I need money to buy pots and pans. No, you don't need the money to buy the pots and pans. You can borrow those pots and pans from your grandmother's house. It's that kind of thought process that you got to have when you're talking about. Yeah, I'm being serious. And some of y'all grandmothers got some big pots and pans, and so you don't need to go out and buy that. You can just go get it from your grandmother's house. Sometimes it's not about financial capital. Sometimes it's about resource capital, physical capital that you need to address. And so I want to shift your mind on that. On top of the fact that, you know, you're entering a world that is very difficult and copious and complex. Now, angel investing is a whole nother gamut. We haven't talked about that, and I think I should just address it just briefly. An angel investor is typically someone who is an independent arbitrator. He's just got some money in his pocket. He's an executive. He's a retired individual. And he wants to throw a few money here and there to somebody. Sometimes they have angel investor groups where they get together monthly and they review plans and they vote on it and they put their money in together. So I know California has quite a few angel investor groups. I mean, hundreds, and you can look for all kinds of specialties. There's a minority angel investor group. There's a female group. There's one of the biggest angel investor groups in California is a female run angel investor group where they primarily just invest in women. Right, so you have to look and research that and become more familiar with some of the things that you want to do in that area, and just make sure that you're making the right decision. You have some planning, that you're doing the right thing when you're making some of these financial decisions, because it will come back to haunt you, as he said to you earlier. And then the last thing is, I have a story that I tell about venture capital that's so weird to me. I was on a conference call with one of my partners, and we had a business plan that came to us. I liked this guy. He created a business. He had wonderful expertise. He was like, you know, it was an ideal fit. He had a social network. He was a cop, and he was going to create an online network for kids. And he was going to use his experience, and he was one of the people that did investigations with the TV show with the guy that does the kids. I can't think of Ted Hansen. So he has all this background, and that got me excited. I said, let's get on the phone with this guy. He's got an idea. We may be able to leverage this as a marketing ploy, etc. So I get on the phone, and he tells me he raised $1 million. I said, you raised $1 million? I said, why, God, where can I write a check out? I want to make sure that we get you some money. You've raised $1 million already. I said, oh, how much equity do those people have? And he says, those people have 4% equity in this business. I said, 4% equity in this business? And then my red flag started going up. I said, what is going on? He had the most incompetent person running his business. And I've never done it before. I got on the phone. I said, listen, you are the worst businessman I've ever met in my life. He had convinced people, his family, to mortgage their houses and all kinds of stuff, and raised $1 million, and did not even have a website. He paid people to do a website for him. They didn't even do it. And so $1 million was lost, and he thought he was going to come to me, and I was going to give him more money to create a website that should have already been built with $1 million. In the end, he didn't get a website, and there were a lot of people, family members and fellow cops, who lost their life savings in the deal. So I say that as a cautionary tale. Some of y'all are looking for money, but some of y'all don't know how to deal with the consequences of losing that money. And so be very careful about what you look for. Some of you don't need the money. Like I said, y'all better go to grandma's house and steal those pots and pans. You better steal those pots and pans. Say, Grandma, I'll give it back to you. I know a lot of young people who start their technology businesses using their grandmother's computers. Y'all better learn how to do that. Otherwise, y'all gonna owe somebody some money. Not me, because I'm hunting you down. Me and Michael getting in his car. We doing some drive-bys. Where that brother at? He trying to hide from me. He better come outside. I'm gonna get my money. I'm gonna work him to death. Yes.
Okay, thank you for that. No drive-bys, please. I'm not sure anyone's gonna approach.